Recruiter here, the Headless Headhunter, getting you ahead of your job search by reviewing your resume. The resume we have up first is for an IT help desk, and they did a little bit of a weird formatting, but overall it was a bit of a pass on a meter yeet. We don't know their ratio right now, but what they stated was they are an MBA student with a completed bachelor's in IT management seeking remote entry-level IT roles. Very tough to do, but help desk IT support system administration due to living in a rural area without great transport. They've previously earned several IT certs, and they've completed numerous IT projects. They're also running a home lab server cluster, which is too smart for me. I don't know what that actually is. And while the resume may look sparse, they've also been battling cancer. And they bring strong hands-on technical experience, academic training, resilience, and they want to highlight how these skills and experiences make me a strong candidate for remote IT opportunities. This person is currently in my Twitch chat, so I have gotten permission from them to say that. But yeah, they are a cancer survivor and they are struggling to get a job. So let's help them out because healthcare in the United States is terrifying. The fact that, yeah, anyway. So what we're looking for in a help desk is, and this can kind of switch a little bit depending on what you're doing, because overall, it's usually going to be the environment. So Mac OS, Linux, Android, Windows, 7, 11, education, customer service, troubleshooting, problem solving. And then it's some networking as well. So DNS, DHCP, TCP, IPVPN, multitask, meet deadlines, industry, Azure, LAN, WAN, CRM, Jira, Office, Microsoft 365, Active Directory, and then Comp, PowerShell. There is an addition. Usually what will happen is there's very specific to what they're looking for this case. Like, are you helping people like install programs on a computer? Are you doing network security specifically, which is where the networking sort of comes in? So you want to specialize a little bit, but this had sort of what I needed. This person wrote this in a bit of a weird way. So what I would like to see is it's written a little bit different. Because this is a bit hard to read, and they may not fully understand how how it works on their end. So, also, I'm not going to be too much of a stickler for formatting because right now I am in Colorado for 2 weeks and I am in a weird setup. If you notice, everything is different. I am going to be here and in a slightly different setup for 2 weeks, and the formatting on my own computer is off, so I can't fully judge it. I'm going to hazard a guess there's too big of a gap between here, but again, I'm not going to, that's about the only thing I'm going to say because everything's a little bit weird while I'm in Colorado. And yes, you can in fact make fun of me. I am in fact live streaming from my mother-in-law's basement while we visit them for 2 weeks, which it's a very nice basement though. Okay, so this is the part that I don't fully get. Like, you want to write it a little bit differently. Don't just put it out like here. I've seen candidates do this a lot, and I've actually seen a lot of companies put it like this, and I think it's not a good way to write it either. But you don't want to put it up in front, right? Like, you don't want to just put it up here saying IT Help Desk Project. We want to say, put it formatting wise, you want it to look normal, right? Like the normal formatting that I have. I'm also battling altitude sickness and migraines too, so I'm a little off today, but bear with me. So you want to make sure it still looks like this, right? So you can still say projects, that's fine, but you want to say like what was the project that you actually had? Like help desk project, okay? So then you can put it like that. Then you can put Active Directory project, that kind of stuff. So I want you to write it like that because this formatting is a little in volume for the amount they need. It can be possible they miss stuff. So what do we find here? We don't find much. So this is okay, but what did you use like ticket management? So I do like that, like part of this, but I want a little bit more, right? Like maybe we can combine these. So instead of like just IT help desk, we could say like Active Directory help desk project. And then you can say use ServiceNow, which they may or may not want, to log, categorize, and escalate test support incidents while documenting and troubleshooting resolution steps. The problem with this is inherently a people-focused job. And I know that sounds weird because when you get to like troubleshooting for other people, most candidates will focus entirely on the tech when weirdly enough, you don't want to entirely focus on the tech. Part of your job is being able to explain to Bob that, hey, your monitor is unplugged, here's how we do it. And a lot of people put in their resume about the most impressive stuff they've done, but on a day-to-day case, you're usually not doing that. And I think the project section is a little too long. So here is actually pretty solid, because explain technical concepts in Microsoft. Okay, this is written weirdly, but we do want this. So here's how we're going to do this, right? And again, I'm trying to get my own thoughts straight here. Is we're going to shrink this stuff down. We are going to combine these. Instead of just saying Active Directory, Microsoft 360, networking, and virtualization deployment project, we're going to shrink it down to maybe about 2 to 3 projects, and then we can actually put this stuff in it, right? And then we can add this, because I will be perfectly honest with you, this is good experience. Explaining technical concepts to people to non-technical users is like the job. So I do understand this is later, but what you can do, and this is one of the few times I would probably switch this up, right? Like I would actually put the work history up top, because it shows you've done it remote for a while, and then the fact that you are in progress and you just graduated is why, right? This is where you actually can put the dates to say that, you know, the reason you didn't have, the reason there's a gap is you went to college. That's what you did. So this also needs to be written slightly different. Instead of explain technical concepts in Microsoft Word, Excel, and Office to non-technical, I want to know what kind of technical concepts you explained. Because explaining, like, yeah, I actually don't know. Yeah, I don't know what you explained. This is a bit of a problem, because this is really good experience. And I know you were thinking that it's a while ago, but I would not hide this. This is solid. This is exactly what they'd be looking for, which I'm not even sure if people can fully see on the screen. They can't. So we need to shrink the projects. We need to bring the work history up before the projects. I know, that's kind of shocking. And then this way it'll all be very condensed, and people will see that you graduated, you're still looking, and you have everything we need. Because you basically do, we just got to write it in a better way. So that's all I can do for this resume. I want everybody to, you know, we want to get this person a job so they can pay for stuff. Yeah, that brain is not working. But if you ever need more help, you can always join me on my Twitch chat every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST. That's where the person who sent in this resume is, and I'm going to help them in even more. I'm here to help y'all get ahead of the job market. So let's go to the next resume. This is a resume review of a data scientist. This person has around 150 applications to a single interview. They are a data scientist with 8 years of experience in the automotive industry. They are considering looking for roles in other industries, but they've struggled to get interviews with their previous resume. This is their updated, newer resume. So this is not the resume they had 150 with, but they want to see pointers before they go forward. My brain is still not working today, but let us begin. All right, so let me double check this. Okay, so industry is important, but you're probably not going to have it, and that's okay. Data, cloud, office, LLM, Spark, Skibbity Learn. I know how to actually say that, scikit-learn, but I hate it. I refuse. It's Skibbity Learn forever in my head. NumPy, dashboards, data visualization, Tableau, Power BI, and ETL. Okay, because again, I don't know these by heart. There's a reason I make a list. And start. All right, computer engineering, electrical engineering. Okay. We may not need the bachelor's actually, but whatever. So Python, GCP, good. You can put that in can't speak. Okay, giving you another 10 seconds because I messed up. Various libraries, including Skibbity Learn, developers, and the state order, visualization was okay. Dashboards using Python and Cloud Run, daily tasks, GCP, Vertex, LLM, Tableau. It had. And again, I know you don't have data. You don't have the industry. That actually might have been a meet just on that. There were some things we can do to change it. So for one, yeah, you can keep this. It's not a big deal. Mainly because it's in a different industry. Here's where I want to change this around a little bit. I don't think this is a bad sentence. I want to be clear. I don't think it is at all. It's actually kind of a good sentence. But I think there's a way to make it better. So we want to actually start more with the stakeholder. So what I would say is created data visualization tools for stakeholders in X and Y, while developing models using Python. Actually, because we still do it. No, I think this is okay. I'm missing SQL. I think again, my brain is still not braining. Yeah, we're missing SQL. That is actually pretty critical. You should have it. You don't need R if you have Python, but you are missing SQL. So, used Google Cloud and various AI libraries, including skibidi-learn, to develop models, which is great, and present them to... Here's the thing. I don't know if we really need this. You could just say to our stakeholders, using data visualization tools from Tableau to whatever. Another issue I'm having with this, and I think this is actually kind of my biggest issue with this sentence, which again is not bad, I'm just kind of being very picky on this one, is what did they use those data visualization tools for? Because remember, while your job is to use the data, a lot of the times they don't really care how you use it, just that you got the result. And I don't fully know what you used it for. So that's something. Here, you don't need to do Python because you already mentioned it here. Here you can put Python again down below, which people can't see. Here is okay to put Python again. Here you already did it. You don't need to repeat it in the same role. So Python doesn't need to be here because it's already here. And then for Google Cloud Platform, you can just put and then parentheses GCP. So it's Google Cloud Platform parentheses GCP. So that way, if you need to reference it again, which I guess you don't, so that's okay. But yeah, I don't know if Cloud Run is needed. I don't know if Flask is needed. See, this, I like the last part, right? Like, but the first part, I don't know if I really need. Angular, maybe. So I would like to sort of switch this up because transforming the way skilled workers approach their daily tasks is good, but what do you mean by transformed? How did you do it? What did you do to transform it, right? Like, what was the data? Again, it's less that I care about how you got the data and more how you used the data and presented it, which is a bit of a similarity between a lot of other types of roles. Oh, here it is, GCP. That's good. You do need to put it in parentheses here just so they know that it's down there. That's what it means. See, this one is great. I actually like this. I think this is a better sentence because we have LLM. You did GCP again, but again, it's not huge if you specifically mentioned agent space and they may or may not want agentic. So that one's good. I like the custom LLM that non-technical users. This is actually a phenomenal sentence. This should be higher. Like this gives me practically nothing. This is fantastic. Developed a time series machine learning model. Again, every time you use one of these things, you need to spell it fully out first and then put it in parentheses just so they know, because it's possible that the person who is searching for this only knows ML or they only know machine learning, but not that those are the same thing. We already mentioned skibidi-learn. We did not mention TensorFlow. Yeah, there's just a lot. I mean, it's not bad. Oh, here it is. Let it team 3 times faster because your quality application. This is great. This is great. If anything, this should. Wait, why is this not your first sentence? Unless you're not applying for lead roles, but like this has mostly what I would want. Like this tells me what you actually do. Nothing here really tells me what you do. This one did, but the others didn't. Oh, and see, so yeah, you kind of buried some of your better stuff. So does this pass? Yeah, this might actually pass. I think this is pretty solid, this new version. I just think there's some tweaks we can use, basically like switch some stuff around. Because remember, the people that are reviewing it may not really know. Because if you look at these I don't know where this is. Everything has changed on my screen. This, like, it's important that you have this stuff, but most of this is sort of like influencing stakeholders, right? Like this, I would argue, is the most important thing. The explaining stuff to non-technical folks, influencing stakeholders, and cross-functional. That is going to be the majority of your job, because it doesn't matter if you used skibidi-learn and AI and GCP to do an analytical data modeling if you can't convince Bob, the CEO, that they really need to change their business strategy based on that. That's most of the job. And I'm sure you know that too. Like you've got 8 years in it. So, again, not bad. I just think the priority of some of your bullet points are different. And when we're dealing with a better resume, I get extra picky just in case. But overall, not bad. This alone, even if you don't change anything, could probably get you some roles. The big hitter is the lack of industry experience. But you already mentioned that we can't really, there's not much we can do about that. So that's all for this resume. Also, please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out. And let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of a software engineer entry-level role. This person said they are on a F1 visa as a full-time master's student at, and you really just put all your information there, at X place. Graduated in May. I will be eligible for full-time work under F1. Oh, OPT. Okay, so you're OPT. And I'm also open to opportunities at H1B sponsorship. So, you are also in chat. Like, everybody's in chat today for some reason in my Twitch chat. But for the people at home, they may not know what an F1 OPT is and how easy it is to actually work with you. It will tank your chances, to be clear. If you're an international student, they just have a worse ratio just because it's harder. But they will need to know sort of how to work with you, at least for that. So if you're ever putting just on F1, I would put OPT as well, just because they may not know. They may think it's only an H-1B, which requires a specific amount of stuff compared to an OPT, compared to a TN visa. There's a lot of visas, and the number one rule we had when using like any immigration candidate was we talk to a lawyer first. So it's very confusing. But what we're looking for, and I imagine since you're in chat, do we know your ratio? I don't know if we do or not, but I imagine it's not great. But is there anything else I have that I'm missing for this? No, I don't think so. All right, so let's begin. For a software engineer Python, we are going to look for Python, SQL, any of them, PostgreSQL, whatever, you, whatever SQLs, Docker, Cloud, and any of its words. So again, if you're going AWS, you may want EC2. I think it's EC2. If you're going GCP or Azure, you may want the equivalent of what they have. I don't know those off the top of my head. RESTful APIs, that is honestly almost every single software engineer needs that in their resume for some reason. Agile, good to have. Git, CI/CD, and then one of these. Full stack, AI, DevOps, and those. So again, they're sort of broken down into like, is this a Python engineer who also is full stack? Is this a Python engineer who is also AI? Is this a Python engineer who is also DevOps? Depends on what they're looking for. But again, you don't need all of those. You just need one of those. And a bonus for Kubernetes, ETL, and MongoDB, and weirdly enough, Java. So can I find this in 20 seconds? Your formatting is horrible. And go. All right, nothing here that I need. I can't use any of that. Masters is fine. Okay, technical skills, I can't use those. Okay, enhancing evaluation, AI is okay. What is Godel, Llama, Gemini? None of these are what? And I'm out of time. I found SQL. So, if you noticed, again, they dox themselves, so shame them, everybody. Give them a bell of shame. But if you notice, I could not use anything here, right? Remember, this doesn't count. A skills section doesn't count. I wish it counted. I wish if I saw a skill in a skills section, I could present it to the manager. But I can't. It doesn't work. Every single time you see something in a skills section and you give it to the manager, it will be sent right back to you. So you cannot have a skills section. Doesn't count. So I did not find a single thing. Again, same with the summary. I don't really need it here. Which is a problem because I got all the way through here, and again, it delayed me. This I do need. This is fine. Should not be bolded, and it should be in bullet points, but overall, this part is fine. And then down here, and then I found nothing I needed. I don't see Python. I see SQL. That's it, out of the corner of my eye. I don't know what cron batch alpha is. I don't know what ANOVA is. I don't know what MANOVA is. I don't know what goal alignment is in relation to a transformer-based model or emotional flow. None of that is what I'd really be looking for. Like, you are a smart person, obviously. You have a master's degree. You are a master's of computer science. You know your stuff. And you have been with members of your peers for I probably last 4 to 5 years, who if you go up to them and you say, yo, I just worked on an emotional flow goal alignment on a Cronbach Alpha, and it's not a Nova, it's Manova, they're going to bust out laughing because that's like a joke or something. But if you said that to anybody else, they would have no idea what you're talking about. Because when you're doing these types of jobs, even the high 10 years of experience ones, they're not asking for all of this stuff. Now, maybe if this was specifically for a very specific type of AI engineer, some of this would be useful, but I would challenge you to go on job descriptions and see if you can even find this stuff. Because the number one rule of the resume is if it's not on your resume, it doesn't exist. Actually, that's number 2. Number 1 is always double check your phone number and email. The amount of times I've called candidates and I could not get a hold of them and then their email bounced is insane. So that's real number 1. Number 2 is if it's not on your resume, it doesn't exist. And at this point, I don't see how you used Python. I don't see how you use SQL or AWS. Because remember, cannot use it here. I have to see how you did it and the reason and result of it. And when you go for your first real job, which, again, you've probably worked before, I need you to remember what that's like. This is not your peers. This is somebody who may be hiring somebody to do some boring stuff. This maybe you get to do some crazy stuff, but even on the job description, they're not going to say emotional flow. They're not going to say syntactic variety or DB scans or isolation forests. They're going to say, hey, can you use Python? And then for AI engineers, they're going to use a little more AI, but it's going to be the basic stuff. So this resume does not work because it's written for somebody who knows what they're doing. And it's not just that the hiring manager or the recruiter doesn't know it. It's that, remember, we get 15 seconds. And could you find this in 15 seconds? Probably not. So that is where this resume really fails, is I can't find what I need very basically. Because like if you go down here, this is actually nice. I like this. Advanced SQL queries using PostSQL and Python. I don't know about the rest of it. And again, SQL. Like even if I go down, I only see SQL and Python. Where's the RESTful APIs? Where's the Agile? Where's the Git? Where's the CI/CD? And if it is AI, where's the AI? I know you're screaming internally, and I'm going to look back at chat, and you're going to be like, it's everywhere, but we wouldn't know that. And if even if they do know it, they probably can't find it in 15 seconds. So this resume doesn't work. They're in chat. I'm going to help them out. And then, but for everybody else, let's go to the next resume. This is a resume review of an AI engineer. So what we're looking for in an AI engineer is, well, AI, LLM, NLP, Python, TensorFlow, PyTorch, Cloud, NumPy, R, MATLAB, SDLC, CI/CD, DevOps, and then one of these, in this case, it's going to be like machine learning and maybe 1 or 2 of the things from machine learning, and how you can explain stuff to non-tech people. Specifically, if you are in a very highly technical role, you will almost always want to show how you can explain a technical concept to a non-technical person. I know I use a lot of hyperbolic language. I like using exaggeration sometimes. I am not kidding when I say that as a highly skilled and technical person at a company, half of your job may be telling people how to plug in their monitor. That's not really a joke. As an AI engineer, probably not, but it would be the equivalent. Most of what you're going to do is teach other people the basics. So, can I find this in 20 seconds? Let's find out. All right, this is fine. Built in AI, good. Python, good. AWS, good. Too much other stuff. I think I saw LLM. Oh, there's... Okay, all of those? Okay. Engineered a custom for Python. There's so much extra stuff. And then no. No. So, it's the problem here is this is filled with stuff I don't really need. And I was not able to get farther than this. And I know people make fun of me for, like, not knowing stuff. I will have you all know, and I'm not bragging, I am an above-average tech recruiter. I'm not going to say I'm the best tech recruiter in the world, no. But I actually do know my stuff. I have taught other teams and other recruiters how to recruit for tech. That is like what I have done. And after my training, or if they just need me to do it instead of training other people, I have, in fact, increased the number of hires, the speed of the hires, and the quality of hires. So I actually do know what I'm talking about. And the problem with this is about how far I could go. And if you look at this, there's a bunch of stuff that I don't really need. So AI is good. Python is great. Cloud I saw, but I didn't really see like anything else because it's filled to the brim with 3.8s and Boto 3 and SDKs and LLMs I did need, so that was actually good. And Nova Pros and YAML JSONs and OOPs, which actually OOP is something that could be good, but I missed it. But I don't need half of this stuff, right? Like, you wrote everything. I need people to focus on what their resume contains. When you make a resume, it needs to be fully, like, focused on a particular role. In this case, it needs to be focused specifically on AI engineering. I don't really need HTML and CSS. I don't know if I really care about Git version control or interactive dashboards. I care about pandas and skibidi-learn, but I didn't get this far down. So you need to focus this, right? Like, there is so much stuff here that they can't find what they need. And as an example, I like using food metaphors because everybody has to eat. It is like wanting a simple burger, a hamburger, and the person at the counter puts an entire bucket of ketchup and mustard on it. Yeah, do I like ketchup and mustard? Sure, but it's drenched in it that I cannot taste what I was looking for, which was a burger. And in this case, that is the same thing. I cannot find what I'm looking for because I only have 20 seconds to find what I need. And lo and behold, it's filled with a bunch of other stuff because I still have to read it. I can't, like, not read this stuff in front of me because I still have to, like, actually read the sentence. So that's one way this resume fails. The other way this resume fails is you don't tell me how you explain stuff to non-tech people. I understand how explaining stuff to non-tech people is at the very bottom of this list. It's still one of the most important things. I need to know that you were able to handle talking with Bob, who, man, if there are any people whose name is Bob, they will probably hate my channel because I use that as my example name. But if you're talking to Bob and you tell Bob, like, hey, I Pythoned the Bedrock into Boto 3 HTML full stack Streamlit based, and they're like, what's AI? You're going to have to explain it to them, right? That is going to be your job. And I don't see that. So it's filled to the brim with stuff. The formatting's not terrible. It's just there's not enough qualifications. And remember, these are the qualifications. Actually, there's too much stuff. That's the point. There's too much stuff. And if it's so filled to the brim with ketchup and mustard and I can't taste the burger, you're not going to get a passing grade. So that's all I can do for this one. Let's go to the next resume. This is a resume review of a game developer in Unity. Woo. Right now you have an employment authorization via, they're getting an OPT. My goal is to obtain an internship or a junior role as a game programmer specializing in Unity. Okay, so first off, the game dev market is not great right now. It's really, really bad from my understanding. And I don't know how many of them are doing OPT stuff. That's beyond my niche knowledge of that industry. But what we are looking for in a game dev is actually kind of interesting. This is the list I had from the UK, but as far as I can tell, it seems mostly correct in that you want two things. So as you notice, there are 3 blocks here in this game developer thing. But what you actually want is 2 of them. And it's really going to determine on if you're on the server side or the game engine. And as an example, I'm going to say, like, I play a lot of video games. If you're working on League of Legends compared to The Witcher. If you're working on The Witcher, or like Witcher 4, you would want stuff like 3D math animation. You want Unreal. You want physics systems. You want debugging and resolving complex stuff. If you were working on, say, like an MMO, like... does League of Legends count as an MMO? It is a massively multiplayer online game. But let's just say Warcraft so people don't flame me in the comments. If you're working on World of Warcraft, you would probably want to know more about like cloud and matchmaking, server orchestration, CI/CD. So in this case, I assume you're looking for the game engine side. But regardless of which one of those you put on, you will need C++, C#, some networking, your shipped projects. You can multitask on a deadline and work cross-functional. There's going to be 1 or 2 other things here, but this is a good guide as it is right now. So All right. Oh, yeah, Final Fantasy 14. I actually play that. Why did I forget Final Fantasy 14? All right. So, can I find this in 20 seconds? Let's find out. And go. All right. Game dev cert, good. Engineered AI systems. Nav mesh. Don't know if I need that. C++. I do need. I'm giving people an extra little bit of time because my work stuff is off. Game engine. Full screen. Unity is good. I don't know about this. 3D. This one is actually solid, but you worked closely with them. I don't think this has enough. So, yeah, part of the problem is I just don't see enough stuff. So I'm assuming you're going for the game engine side, so you actually need these two. And I found C Sharp, which was good. I found, again, AI, maybe. Maybe this could be very good. For specifically because it's enemy AI, which is a video game thing. So I'm going to count that maybe as one, too, that I missed. And then we get to a bit of the problem is I don't really see much of anything else besides one part of Unity. And if you notice, 3 things, and I got down to about here 4 because 3D, it's not enough. So where's the math? It says 3D math. You just did models. The animation's nice, but I also need the math. What about the physics system? Did you do anything about the physics system? Let me see. Yeah, I didn't even get that far down, though. Did you get to networking? Because, again, there's going to be... Everything is online now. Probably not. What about shipped projects that you did? Did you ship anything? 4D Tetris. Okay, I personally want to know how you did that. I don't know what that would imply. What is 4D Tetris? In the comments, if you want to link that, please do. I would like to check that out. To be clear, I play a lot of video games as well. I am a huge geek. So, but the rest of this I don't really find. Cross-functional I did, which was kind of okay, but it's just not enough, right? And for an intense market like this, I need more, right? Like, people are getting laid off in this all the time. Logic, I might. See, engineer core. See, this is great. This should be first. This actually has most of what I want. Engineered core vehicle physics, good. What? Oh, that's hot. I thought that was the Tetris one. I got so confused. Like, what vehicles are you doing in Tetris? No, vehicle physics is good. Unity's 3D, good. Wheel colliders, models can be good. Realistic driving behavior and responsive gameplay. Then create a cross-platform. Well, I wanted cross-functional, but Python, no. C# and Unity is good. Yeah, so again, this has mostly what I would want. I need you to put it up here, and I need you to write it a little bit more. Because just look at what the job descriptions are actually asking you for. And I think you would be noticing that you're starting to put a lot of extra stuff that isn't as needed. So... do me a favor, link your project of the 4D Tetris. I personally want to know how that works, which sounds really cool. I'm terrible at Tetris, though, but it still sounds cool. But yeah, you just need more, right? Like, I found 50% of what I needed, and as you would be on an OPT and the market is terrible, I kind of need all of this stuff. You know, I need a little bit more. And I do need to know that you shipped some of these, right? Like, did you have a deadline? In fact, if you could even put a sentence of like, you know, needed to create this in X amount of months, which the X amount of months isn't important, but and I made it ahead of the deadline is important. So I just need more, right? I need more. And I know you're just graduating, but you're kind of hitting a triple whammy of some of the worst things that can happen is your hardest job search will always be getting your first job. Bar none, getting your foot in the door, always the hardest thing. And you're an international, which is also way harder. And the industry you're getting into is terrible right now. So you are looking at a really, 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 really tough market. And I wish I could end this video on a better note, but I wanted to tell you honestly so you don't get like, why is it like, you know, it's not working, is you are going to need to submit a lot of resumes and they're going to need to be better than this one. So use my guide. Let me know if you need anything else. Post your Tetris thing. I legitimately want to see that game. That sounds cool, 4D Tetris. And I will see everybody else in the next video. If you ever need more help, you can always go on my live stream at twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 11 a.m. PST. And I will see you in the next video to help you get ahead of your job search.